Answers with Dr. Reju is a platform where we take a more in-depth and intentional look into various life issues and bring clarification so we can navigate our way through with knowledge. Join us on Patrice Radio as we take this journey to discovery. Do remember to follow, like, and engage us on Instagram at Patrice_radio and also on YouTube via Patrice Radio Live. Thank you.
Is it a myth or do we keep hoping?
Nigeria is a highly religious country. How come corruption thrives?
Why is adoption not encouraged in Nigeria?
Is there a future for the Nigerian youth?
Being rich and famous, is that the only drive to be an artist?
What makes a great nation? Is it the leaders? What about the people?
This is Answers with Dr. Reju. Hi, my name is Onari, and this is Answers with Dr. Reju, where critical life issues are clarified. You're welcome again to another interesting episode. Like I promised, we're going to continue immediately from marriage, where we are. Pretty interesting discussions we had on marriage. We asked questions and Dr. Reju answered, what do we look out for in a relationship, as it regards, to home building. I have Obi Brown, Isaac Omoniyi, and Dr. Reju. And without much ado, I just want us to pick up because we have a lot to talk about, a lot of answers, to be given question to. So, Obi Brown, take it from here.
So, now, on the flip side, humans are fluid.
Yeah.
So, whatever boxes you tick, it doesn't mean that
it will change tomorrow. You need to create another box.
Can somebody now construe that to mean, okay, this guy doesn't tick any box, right? Mm-hmm. He's everything that my father said run away from. But he's fluid. I believe he can change. Are you getting my drift here?
Okay.
I believe he can change. Mm-hmm. Now, so what do you say about that? When you know that, man,
this is not right. These are red flags.
These are red
right?
flags.
And
exactly.
then you can change. Again, there must be something leading you on. Right? Giving that room for change says that there's something you have seen that's leading you on. That's the truth. If you can give that person that benefit of the doubt that, well, there's seeming red flags here, but people change.
So some flags are really red. If the person is violent, for instance.
There are some, because again, I don't want us to commit the same error that we accuse those literatures of. Because most of these things are people specific. Right? For instance, on a general level, if somebody has the tendency to be violent, that's deep red. That's deep red. And if I really, really love that person, I will advise that person to seek counsel. And people who are violent, they are victims of some sort of experience, some sort of upbringing. You hardly see somebody who violates the wife, who beats the wife. On most occasions, that person lives in a house where something like that happened. That's the truth. So, but these are very extreme cases. Although I know that pressure sometimes might also bring that. But again, what kind of exposure is that person going through? What kind of process is that person engaged in? I believe, a civilized man will not hit a woman. I don't care how many books the person has read. If you hit a woman, it's simple. You are uncouth. You're raw. You need a lot of therapy. I always crack the joke. If you want to beat somebody, why don't you go outside? Look for a hefty man. And slap the guy and let's see, prove. So that's a very red flag. If somebody has a tendency. But again, you're right. People change. And that's where the issue of marriage shouldn't just be something somebody thought up without seeking counsel. Right? The place of counsel, the place of advice, drawing from the experience of others. And then you need to know who you are even drawing experiences from. You don't want to go draw experience from somebody who is a mega polygamist. Maybe we'll come to that, but that's the thing. You want to have somebody you look up to, maybe professionally or whatever. Somebody you've seen, maybe an uncle, it might be your dad, it might be your mom or whatever. But it's not something that you enter into unadvisedly. You want to bounce those ideas with somebody. One thing I love doing with ladies is there's some salient points, there's some general things you want to look out for in a man. Number one is, is this man hardworking? Does he love to work? Right? That's a good, we spoke about value system, right? From the cradle, we teach them, in our high school here, how boys should respect girls. Right? They should help girls. They should just respect them, carry them with respect. That's how it starts. Because a man that can't carry a woman with respect is not likely to be a very good husband. But you don't learn that at age 25. You don't even learn it at 16. It should be earlier than that. You're not in a place, we still unfortunately carry buckets of water on our heads here. A man can't be there and a woman is carrying a bucket of water on his head. That boy must be taught that women are creatures that must be, valued and cared for. That's the way you groom future husbands. So those are the kind of things that society itself must be able to inculcate. And then there are the other things, for the girls too, to be able to understand, to be able to learn while growing up. I think I've over-answered this question as usual, the way I normally do it.
We love it when you over-answer. Mr. Money.
Well, what should be the role of the man in marriage?
Man, that's the husband, right? Yeah, we're just getting into that. When I said how you raise a boy and those kind of, you see, I'm going to talk, on those different sexes based on makeup. The way the male gender is wired, the way the female gender is wired. On a general level, the male gender are big picture kind of people. They, sort of just look at things on a very broad level. I believe it's the man that should give direction, and that's one thing I always tell young ladies to look out for. This person that you say you want to enter into a union with, can you sense that this guy has a particular direction for his life? Right? It might not be clear. It might not, but it might something that is even, out of, the blues, that something that's just huge, but he must have the trait of being able to say that he understands that a man needs to chart a course for his life. Because somebody that is going nowhere, you don't want to follow that person. Right? So that's the man exists in a union to be able to chart a course. Maybe putting it in a very, better language, to cast a vision. This family, this is the direction I believe that we should be headed. So when a woman is hearing that, you want to begin to think that, okay, can I be part of that? Can I be part of that? And I say that without being too idealistic. Across culture, the woman defers to the man. So if you are the one being deferred to, you want to be able to, map out something, a direction in which this family should be headed. That's what I believe the role of the man is to be able to create that atmosphere where we can really have a direction that we say we are going as a family. Because somebody needs to be leading. Now, that doesn't make the man superior to the woman in any way. But because the managing director of a company is a human being, the gate man is a human being, right? But functionally, they are different. Responsibility-wise, they are different. In terms of role, they are different. In terms of task, they are different. But primarily, they are both human beings. Like the captain in a flight. It might be based on experience. That's why he's the chief pilot, and then there's a co-pilot, but they are both human beings. They both went to flying school. But the responsibility is different. Because sometimes in our culture, we have taken this, it's like a boss-servant relationship. But that doesn't exist anywhere. It's inhuman. You don't boss another human being. That's why even if you have a driver and you keep harassing the driver, one day we throw your key. Better go and learn how to drive. He will throw the key at you at the middle of expressway. It's a senseless decision to consider, to enter into a dialogue leading to a union with a guy who wears a sagging trouser.
But people change.
People change. No, that guy should change before. I have a burden for the female. You don't want to. That guy is not ready yet to go and talk to a woman. Let him be wearing the sagging trouser among his boyfriends and all those kind of things. Fine, but you're not going anywhere. I mean, that's not your response, because the first sign of maturity is responsibility. And the way you are seen, like my father would tell me, if you dress anyhow, if they are raiding people, they will take you. I always, tell the joke about my father and shoes. He will always tell my sisters, a man who will not polish his shoe, he's not talking about whether the shoe is new, whether it's old, whether it has a hole, even if it has 2 holes underneath. The guy put kiwi. If the guy can make out time to polish his shoe, he will take care of you.
Since you've talked about the role of the man, come to the woman. Can you talk about the role of the woman?
The woman, right, creates the enabling environment for whatever direction the man says is going. The woman is the enabler. The woman is the one who creates the environment for that to happen. Because the man is not going to pull anybody, right? There must be a willingness. The woman comes to make that thing happen. This is where the man said, I want to go, the woman comes and says, that's where we want to go. Because it gets to times, also where the man that says we want to go might be getting a bit tired. It might be the woman is there to provide the support. That no, that's where we want to go.
You've often said, I heard on the seminar, during the seminar, that she's the one that says yes. She's the one that agrees to the...
Absolutely. There can be no marriage without the woman. The man can only make a proposal. The woman is the one who makes it happen. So the woman is a maker happener. If I can. She makes things happen. Because the truth is, in a marriage, when you want to look at it on a realistic basis, the most influential, the most powerful person in the union is a woman. She's the CEO of the home. The man might be like a chairman, doesn't have executive powers. Because a high lot of men say, I am the head. Oh, you're right, the woman is the neck. Who turns the head? Because the head carries the brain. That's it. But there's one thing to think, it's another thing to execute the thought. A lot of people are good thinkers, but they can't put it, they can only think, they can't even put it on paper. But they can sit and dream with you. That's why in leadership studies, we always draw a distinction between a leader and a manager. The man might be the leader, the woman is the manager. Right? The woman is the manager. She's the one who actually spends more time in most cases in the house with the kids, and is the woman. She's the CEO. So she's the most influential in the in the union. Maybe as we go on, we'll see that she's really the boss.
Yeah. So a man and a lady are hanging around. Okay. And the lady likes the guy. For some reason, the guy has not popped the question. What can the lady do about it? To sort of stoke the fire to,
Well, there's something that I said. Men value what they get in the hunt. There might not be anything wrong for the lady to pop the question. But I personally won't advise. What if what the lady feels is not mutual? What if the guy is looking elsewhere? That they are just friends? That will crush that lady. I mean, imagine a guy turning a lady down. So if the lady feels, I believe there are 1,001 ways in which you can really find out, whether what you are feeling is mutual. There are other friends. You know, there are other friends. Send some other people. These are practical tips now. Send some other people to sound him out without knowing that maybe it's coming from you. That's how you can arrange the bush. You know, that's you can, but because and again, we cannot generalize that when a lady feels that way, she can go. There might be instances where the lady can. And you see, the environment, the situation, the circumstances will support that. So we can't say a lady cannot. That might be wrong. Right? But it is not, again, something we say, lady can. Right? But because, again, you have to bring it to our culture. You have to bring it to our culture. Maybe you can work in the West or whatever. I don't know. But in our own culture here, I don't think it's advisable. Because you might not see the effect. When the man gets to that kind of patch that we spoke about at the beginning of this program, you know, that there might be time when the man is just feeling, what is this? The man will tell the lady one day, you know, I didn't want this. You are the one that toasted me. The man will tell the lady. It will crush the lady because, you know, the lady wants to be patronized. That's what the female gender desires. You know, she loves the patronage. You know, she wants to be noticed, not the other way around. But again, today is bad. They're the ones who throw themselves at, you know, the boys. And that, to me, is affecting the quality of boys. You know, because they don't have to do anything. All the ladies are there for the taking. I hope ladies won't crucify me for this, but that's what I see.
So let's briefly look at the male gender in our society today, talking about marriage, and consider some of the things that, you know, not allowing males play their role in the family, in the home. You know, what are some of those things?
There are instances now where the woman actually maybe bankrolls a wedding. There are a lot of jobless men they are being fed by their wives. You know, I counseled a couple of years ago. The man doesn't work. They met in the NYC camp. The man doesn't work, and the car they drive belongs to the girl. The house they live in, the girl pays the rent. You know, and this guy will drive the girl to the ATM on salary day and wipe off the account. Because the girls believe that a guy that's marrying you is doing you a favor. Or maybe on a general level. I don't know, but there are statistics that the value of male is dropping faster than that of women. You know, it's dropping faster. The reason I'm still trying to fathom that. But again, there are some that are a bit negative in terms of, again, what I just described. Sometimes it's out of pressure. The pressure to be man.
Sorry, when you say value of male, are you talking in terms of maybe resourcefulness?
Yeah, quality. I mean, if you go to schools, even you realize that maybe some of the girls are doing better in class. I might not have the statistics on top of my fingers here, but that's common now. What's responsible for that, I don't know. But there's something that I can point out. In many families, boys are given a lot of leeways. A young girl talk to the brother, they, don't you know he's a boy? Those kind of cultural, so the boys believe that they're in this kind of a special kind of position. It's a problem, and we need to actually, not to make them feel special in any way, but to call them to their uniqueness of being a male. Because it's like there's an orchestrated plan to devalue the male gender. Right? They don't take life seriously. Look at drug addiction. Look at this city, for instance. The way boys just gain themselves high with any kind of thing that's available. A pharmacist was telling me how boys get high on cough syrup, gum, or what do they call this thing that they use? Evostic. They put it in handkerchief and they sniff. So look at all this. That, you know, it's as if there is a whole orchestrated plan to, and once that, because the male gender is the seed carrier. Right? Carries the seed. Once that thing is destroyed on the seed level, it affects the whole society. So families need to be wary of how they relate with boys. They mustn't put them in this sort of privileged position. They need to let them know their uniqueness, what they bring to the table as male. Because whatever happens, if anything is wrong with the male, it's going to affect the female.
Can you say it's true that in today's world, women are left with the responsibility of actually bringing up kids more than the guys are?
You know, there's something that because there are times what you just say casually, it says a lot. You have never heard of fatherless babies home. What do we normally hear? Motherless, that his fathers have been removed from the equation, because the woman can't have a child without the input of a man. But society has already placed the responsibility on the woman. It's supposed to be fatherless babies. So there are a lot of things that we just say in society that we've already, those kind of words or phrases is based on a particular premise. It's based on some assumptions that this is the role of women, for them to be able to do this kind of. So it's a very, very dangerous thing that's happening, and families need to take responsibility for that, especially in the way they groom girls to say yes to anybody. Yeah. That's why I said people do those kind of things and they don't even know. I was sharing with somebody, I said, you don't even know where this sagging trouser kind of fashion statement comes from. It comes from jail. But when you go to jail, the first thing they collect from you is your belt. If you go to a police cell room, the first thing they collect from you is your belt, so that maybe you won't hang yourself. And then they now begin to use hand to carry the trouser. That's where that fashion statement comes from. So when jailbirds become, role models in society, then you know how low that we've gone. So as I said, any girl that consider to even enter into discussion with somebody who wears a baggy, sagging trouser, something is wrong with your head. You should send the person back to the family. Go and talk to dad before you come talk to me. Go and talk to mom before you come talk to me. There's something that's not right here. And make sure you're not alone when you say that.
About the factors affecting male gender.
Yeah.
And now you've clarified that, it's been a norm, but it's not proper that the female, what should actually be the role of the female in, let me ask, factors affecting female gender, leading to dysfunctional family.
Society placed this kind of unhealthy pressure on female. It's as if females are nothing without a man. Right? Until a female gets married. You know this thing about settle down syndrome? That's marriage, right? They say he has not settled. I don't know, marriage doesn't settle anybody. In fact, it unsettles you. And then eventually settle. But society, from church, I don't know if it happens more, maybe in the mosque, but it's a societal thing. And it's global. It's global. Once a girl is coming of age, is turning 16, 17, the next thing is marriage. It's as if she's a nobody without a man. And that's not right. I tell you go to some churches, they don't. When did you hear a church call people out for prayers that are believing God for wives? They always call girls out believing God for husband. That's from hell. Those kind of pastors should be removed from the pulpit. Because a woman is a woman without a man. She's a whole person. There are women who earn more than men. If it is finance. We were counseling a particular lady that the husband is so irresponsible. And the lady was complaining, he doesn't drop anything. I said, wait, this man doesn't have a job. You are married to him now, right? There are a lot of men that you work in the same office, on the same level as you, and they take care of their homes. Do it. Because you are in this now. Right? Pay the children's school fees, pay the rent. What you need is a prayer for this man to get a job. Because you can't demand what he doesn't have. And let me say this, I don't know whether this will be relevant as we go forward. There is no marriage that there is a problem. The problem is never a surprise to the couples. Those red flags were there. Those red flags were there. And that is, the reason I'm bringing that in now is because of the question that Onari asked about what's affecting the women. Women no longer consider, and they are not objective in the way they come to conclusion about who they want to marry. Is whosoever comes. If I reject this one, another one will not come. Society put that pressure on them. Every time they wake up, their age depresses them. You know, their friends getting married depresses them. When they dress up in the morning and they are going out, what's on their mind is, how is the man going to perceive me? It's the pressure that society has, and it's unfair. It's unfair. If you are going to pressure anybody to marry, it should be a male. Because it's the male that can easily go out and make a proposal. I tell parents who are worried that their girls are not married, I don't know. I joke with them sometimes, just poke them. I say, tell her to smile more. You know, because I said, if you hear that your daughter is all over the place asking men to marry her, will you be happy? This is not right for you to be pressuring. She can't do anything about it. She can't go out and be proposing to a man. So why pressure her? You know, so those are the kind of things that women, and the perception of they call some senior girls, and it's derogatory. They call some career girls, those ones they've decided not to, maybe because they can't find. You know, so it's unfair on the female gender. You know, because they feel as if they are nothing if they are not married. So even if a guy that is going nowhere comes around to just, you know, get into this, you know, this dreamland, they will say yes. That's why I always make jest of them when the guy proposes. Then he proposes, and they begin to display the finger on Facebook and all the books. You know, it's the guy that should be rejoicing that she said yes. Yeah.
Thank you for the passion you have for the female gender.
Yeah, you know, I live in a girls' hostel, so.
You have such passion. We have to draw the curtains on this episode, but I think we will still be on family. Obi, we should stay here. We should stay here on marriage and, you know, things leading close.
Yeah, I think we should still spend some time on this. There are a lot of issues that we still need to, that we still need to tie, you know, together in terms of what's going on in our society, Western influence, other kinds of the redefinition of marriage and all those kind of things. We still need to really, really trash such issues.
So keep a date with us. Answers with Dr. Reju will come to you next week. Obi Brown, Mr. Isaac Omaniyi, it's good to have you. Thank you. Thank you for your passion for us.
Thank you.
Join us again on Answers with Dr. Reju, where critical life issues